The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning here at 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher. It is Give Big Kern Day, and things have been very different the last two Give Big Kerns because of the pandemic, and we know that our nonprofits have suffered so much because of canceled events and not able to bring in the same amount of revenue, but really their work has probably increased.
I was going to say this last year has probably been even more difficult than ever before, and of course that's why we're asking you to help out today. We'll get more on how you can donate your money, but also your time and why that's so important for our local nonprofits. So we'll get to that in just a bit. First, though, we're talking about your forecast on this Tuesday, May the 4th. And it's going to be another warm day in Kern County.
It is going to be another warm day. Yesterday was perfect. I had a baseball game, was out on the fields, and it was just beautiful all around, even with a light breeze throughout the evening. Today, a little bit warmer. Let's talk about our current temperature, though, right now. We're in the mid-60s for Bakersfield. An east wind at 5 miles per hour right now. And as we take a look at the hour by hour here, we will be near 74 by 9 a.m. and then in the lower 90s this afternoon. In the Tehachapi area, clear skies and 41 degrees under a calm wind. We'll see a light breeze throughout the afternoon. And you can see those mid-60s return by 9 a.m. and some 70s, upper 70s by the afternoon. There is another cooling trend on the way. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Kev. Breaking overnight, a man was shot and he is in the hospital this morning. According to Bakersfield Police Department, officers responded to reports of a shooting just after 12:30 at the Fastrip on Ming Avenue and South Real Road. That's in southwest Bakersfield. That's where officers say they found a man suffering from a gunshot wound. According to police, the victim was uncooperative with the investigation. No word yet on a description of the shooter. If you know anything about the incident, you're urged to call BPD at 327-7111. Meantime, a homicide investigation underway this morning in Wasco. According to the sheriff's office, deputies were called to the area of Broadway Street near 8th Place just after 10:30 last night. That's where deputies say they found a man suffering from some sort of trauma. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. If you know anything about this incident, you're urged to call the sheriff's office at 861-3110. As more places around the country relax COVID-19 prevention measures, President Biden updates federal guidance on the pandemic recovery later today.
NBC's Chris Pallone has a preview from Washington.
Hi there, Alex and Maddie. With vaccinations on the rise and COVID cases continuing to fall across the U.S., the president believes things are going to look far different in just a few months if people continue to get vaccinated. President Joe Biden sounded an optimistic note ahead of issuing updated summer guidance.
When do you believe the U.S. will reach herd immunity? I think by the end of the summer, we'll be in a very different position than we are now.
The president is banking on Americans continuing to roll up their sleeves and get vaccinated.
Right now, every single person 16 years or older doesn't have to wait in line, can show up and get a vaccination now. My plea to everyone, get vaccinated now, please.
More than 104 million Americans are now fully inoculated, but demand for shots is dropping, down 24%. That could soon change, though, as it appears the FDA is poised to approve the Pfizer vaccine for adolescents ages 12 to 15.
Vaccinating 12 to 15-year-olds is going to get us closer to herd immunity.
Monday, the governors of New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey announced they will soon allow nearly all businesses to open at full capacity. In Las Vegas, casinos are up to 80%, and in Florida, the governor is suspending all COVID restrictions. But health experts say herd immunity might prove to be elusive.
We're not going to eradicate this virus off the face of the earth, and it's going to be ensuring that those vaccination levels stay high in all our communities so you don't get those outbreaks.
As the nation races to reopen, there's optimism amidst reality that the virus is still a threat. The White House has released a new texting tool to help people find vaccinations near them. By texting a zip code to Get Vax, people will get a list of 3 vaccination sites in their neighborhood. In Washington, Chris Pallone, 17 News.
President Biden is restricting travel from India starting today due to the country's overwhelming surge in coronavirus cases. President Biden made the decision on the advice of the Centers for Disease Control. Officials say the travel ban will not apply to U.S. citizens, permanent residents, and other exempted people. All incoming approved travelers will need to test negative, quarantine, and retest upon entering the United States. India recorded another 368,000 coronavirus cases yesterday, including more than 3,400 deaths, as a catastrophic surge ripples through the country. Experts caution the official COVID-19 numbers from the world's second most populous country are likely a massive undercount. The second wave is overwhelming the country's medical system. Health officials say there's not enough oxygen, doctors, or hospital beds for the surge of patients.
They are dying on the way to the hospital because they are going from hospital to hospital trying to find a bed. We have patients on the wards who are very sick, who ideally should be in an ICU, but we have no space for them.
New Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister says the government plans to have at least 300 schools convert into vaccine centers. This as Prime Minister Modi's government is facing criticism for failing to prepare.
Now to the COVID-19 pandemic in Kern County. We appear to be slowly recovering from the worst of the virus. Public Health announced 24 new cases yesterday and no new deaths. Our death toll stands at 1,354 lives lost. Meantime, our hospitals are down to the lowest levels in more than a year. Currently, state data shows that 19 people are in the hospital with the virus, only 4 in the ICU. If you've lost a loved one to COVID-19 and are having trouble paying for funeral expenses, there's help to be had. The Federal Emergency Management Agency is accepting applications for its Funeral Assistance Program, which will reimburse funeral expenses to those who've lost family members to the virus. Expenses can include things like a casket or urn, burial plot, arrangement for a ceremony, and more. To begin the application process, call the number on your screen, 844-684-6333. The phone line is open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
The Food and Drug Administration says it could authorize the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 12 and up as early as next week. But for now, those 16 and older are eligible to receive the vaccine. The mass vaccine site at the Kern County Fairgrounds is still operating Wednesday through Sunday, 9:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. And the vaccine hub at CSUB is still accepting first dose appointments through May 14th. To sign up, go to myturn.ca.gov. And you can also call the number on your screen, 833-422-4255. And Miramonte High School is hosting a COVID-19 vaccination clinic today. It's from 1 to 6 p.m. at the school on South Fairfax Road. And there is an incentive to get the shot. If you get the vaccine, you'll have a chance at winning a $100 gift card. Just bring your ID and don't forget your mask. More information can be found on our website, kget.com.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
And we're back in your 17 Court Watch this morning. A Tehachapi man's charged with 4 felonies in connection with sexually abusing a 4-year-old girl. According to a document filed in court, 35-year-old Jonathan Scroggins admitted the abuse to the alleged victim's mother and told her it's no excuse, but he needs a girlfriend. His comments were recorded during a phone call that the police had the mother make to him. The mother reported the incident December 7th, and Scroggins was taken into custody several days later. The Kern High School District has settled a lawsuit filed by a former district police officer who claimed the school administrators made unwanted sexual advances toward him. The district agreed to pay Anthony McCarthy $225,000 to settle the case. McCarthy's attorney, Johnny Hornberger, said that he was proud to represent McCarthy in the case. District spokeswoman Erin Briscoe said that the district had no comment as of news time.
Trial set to begin today in the case of a 3-month-old who allegedly died as a result of child abuse. Back in 2014, Jesus Bautista's daughter was taken to Memorial Hospital, where investigators say they responded for a report of child abuse. The infant was having seizures and difficulty breathing. Her condition worsened, and she was taken to Valley Children's Hospital in Madera, where she died a day later. The child's mother, Erica Cervantes, has pleaded no contest to 1 count of willful cruelty to a child. She is expected to testify at Bautista's trial and will face sentencing once the trial is over. And a man accused of kidnapping a woman's child to force her to continue prostituting herself faces sentencing today. According to court records, 32-year-old Rayshawn Miller promised to take care of a woman's 3-month-old child if she worked out of the Desert Star Motel, the site of a human trafficking ring that resulted in multiple arrests. The woman agreed, but prosecutors say Miller refused to return her child. The kidnapping charges were dismissed, but Miller was convicted on human trafficking, pimping, and pandering charges. Miller faces a possible 40 years in prison and lifetime sex offender registration, according to the DA's office.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back in your 17 Business Watch. Verizon is selling Yahoo and AOL. The $5 billion deal will put the pioneering online platforms in the pocket of Apollo Global Management, a private equity firm. Remember AOL's You've Got Mail? It was both an alert and a catchphrase during the early days of the internet. And Yahoo was where everyone went online before Facebook wanted to be friends and Google became a noun and a verb. Verizon couldn't quite compete against those two in the digital advertising world, which was the purpose of buying AOL and Yahoo, and decided to sell.
You can blame the pandemic, the fast food wars, or the country's love of comfort food, but no matter how you slice it, America has a bit of a chicken problem. Demand is outpacing supply, which has sent prices skyrocketing. The tight supply is also leaving some restaurants without some of their best-selling items. Bojangles has had trouble keeping chicken tenders in stock.
Some people see the sign and they turn around and leave. So I saw a lot of that yesterday. They just leave.
The National Chicken Council says, quote, as chicken production begins to resume a more normal pace of output in the coming months and there's better supply-demand ratio, the market tightness should ease.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.